Hi everyone, it's Jill Lancet. Look, I made myself a new header. If you're in Australia and you'd like to shop with me, that is my online store. That is my email address. So if you have any questions, please do send me an email or pop it into the comments below and I'll get to them. Please give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe and share my videos because that helps me out. So thank you so much to all those that are already subscribed. Thank you. You really don't know what that means to me. This is the new host code for September and it ends on the 30th. Now today's card, I've got a couple of shout outs here. First of all, happy Father's Day to all the dads, would-be dads, soon-to-be dads, granddads, you name it. Happy Father's Day, guys. I hope you had a lovely day. Certainly in this neck of the woods, it was barbecue weather all the way. The second shout out I need to make is to my beautiful friends that I had lunch with on Saturday, Carol, Maria and Chona. Our other friend Elsa couldn't make it, but we had a lovely day and we made some cards. I took over some bits and pieces and we made some cards, and then I got into trouble for never giving them a shout out. Go figure. Hello girls. They're all my BFFs. Okay, that's done. Today's card is something that I've been thinking about for the last couple of days, and I finally got in here and actually put it into reality. So I've got a few bits and pieces here. I'm going to just go through the things that you'll need to make this card, and I've got a couple of other examples to show you. Now I'm calling this Shattered for obvious reasons. I'm just going to stand up and make sure that you can see what's happening here. That looks like it's been shattered. So I'm going to walk you through how I made this. So I hope that you'll give this a go. There's a couple of new products here that I'm going to show you that you can't see in a catalogue yet, because they're from the new mini catalogue that's coming out in a few days' time. But isn't that lovely? I thought it was lovely, and I'll go through all the bits and pieces with you in a minute. The paper, the designer series paper, is from the Bright and Beautiful, which is in our current annual catalogue, and it's this one here. You probably don't even recognise it because I've stamped over it. That's what it looks like on the other side. But I have made a few samples for you, so you'll get to see them in different forms. I've got little gems sticking onto things they shouldn't be sticking onto here, and in fact everywhere. These are something out of the new mini catalogue. These are going to be a must-have, and they are going to be a staple in your craft room. Now, I just want to show you what I did over the last couple of days. I just got an old case and I have put all my basic shapes onto magnetic sheets. I reach for these all the time, and I got sick and tired of flipping through all the different packaging. So look, there's how many sheets? There's like 1, 2, 3. There's 4 sheets in there, and I'm sure I could possibly fit another 4 or at least 3. But they are my go-tos. They stay on my desk now. The same with my basics embossing folders. I just got so sick of finding them all the time. So they're in there. And yeah, I know where they are. They're on my desk all the time. So these are going to be part of my new basic shapes, and they are the deckled circles. Now I've got 2 out at the moment, but look how look, they're beautiful. And they're huge. Look how big they are. You're talking in old money, you're talking about 6 inches. In centimetres, you're talking about 15 centimetres. So the biggest one is 6 inches or 15 centimetres, and they graduate down right to that little one there. But I've used 2 today, but these are going to be in the new mini catalogue. So yeah, don't hold your breath waiting for that. It'll be out on the 6th of September, and then you'll be able to go and have a look at that online. So that's the papers out of the way. That's the beautiful deckled circles. What else have I got here? This is the paper that comes from the beautiful balloons designer series paper. I'm just trying to get that all in screen. But they're lovely. You've seen them before. I have shown them before. Now the next thing that we're going to be looking at is, that is on page 15 of the annual catalogue. Now the next thing is these gorgeous charming sentiments. Now there is a die that will cut those out. If, like me, you don't like fussy cutting, I didn't fussy cut it. I've just white embossed that straight onto the berry burst, and we're going to do that and other things. So that's the next thing. I used some of these glossy dots. No, these ones here. They are the in colour dots. And believe it or not, this is berry burst, and that is moody mauve. That blends in perfectly. So yeah, that's all I can say about that. We're using some of this white baker's twine. It's on the bottom of page 144. And the last thing is these Nested Essentials dies, and they're on page 165. Now those I have put in here along with my basic shapes all together, all in one container. Hopefully I won't lose them anymore. Okay, that's that. Now let's have a close look at this. Now this is one of the deckled circles, and I've used 2, but there's only one I've used to cut out. And the other one is more of a guideline, really. But we'll find that out in just a moment. Okay, now I've got bits and pieces here. I've got my white baker's twine. I took the liberty of putting some of our double-sided adhesive paper on the back of our beautiful piece of designer series paper. I've got a scrap of white. Here is the Nested Essentials die that we're going to be using eventually. And here are those glossy dots. Now I've got 2 sets here, so yeah, aren't they beautiful? And they're in the new colours. That's the Pebble Path, Wild Wheat, Moody Mauve, the Copper Clay, and the Boho Blue. They're lovely. They're just lovely. They're like enamel dots, but they've got like a mirror behind them. So we'll pop those there. And the stamp set that I'm using is this Magical Meadow. Now this is also from the new mini catalogue, so you won't be able to see this until the 6th. But I'm just going to use these 3 stamps here. And I think we'll get started. I think that's pretty much all you need to know at this point in time. So I'm just going to show you how I did this shattered. So with my piece of scrap paper, I'm just popping that under there. And I've got my Berry Burst ink pad here. And a few of the stamps. Now I'm just going to stamp them randomly I'm going to cut this out, and you'll see the 2 deckled circles that I've got here. This one here is the one I'm actually going to be cutting. So I know where I can place these stamps. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a few, and they're all in the Berry Burst. Now, having this DSP as a background, it means I don't have to fill it in. I don't have to find any small stamps and try and fill them in because there's a background there. So I'm just stamping them randomly. And I really love this colour. I was so glad that they brought it back. It's just a really nice mid colour, what I would call a mid colour. And some of these you probably won't even get the whole stamp on there, but we'll give it a whirl. Okay, and it stamps beautifully, this designer series paper. Yeah, so don't be afraid to use that as your background. And I love these distinctive stamps. They're just so gorgeous. They look like newspaper pictures, if you know what I mean. So we'll just do a bit here, a bit there, and then we'll have a look and see how that looks in our circle. Looks like I could do with a little bit more down there, so we'll pop a bit down there. And I'm calling that done. So that was very quick. That didn't take very long at all. I'm just going to give these a clean, because invariably I will be the one that puts my finger in them. Now that's done. Now the other thing, I want to cut that out. So as I said, I have put already on the back of this some of the adhesive, what do you call it, double-sided adhesive paper. So I'm going to get my little stamp and die cut machine out, but first I'm going to put a little bit of this removable tape on here, just so I know that it's not going to move around. Okay, so that's done. I'm just going to cut that out. It's over the other side of the room, so just talk amongst yourselves, and I'll be just a minute. Now I could have cut that out first and then stamped it, but I wanted to show you how I got that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to stamp, and I need my mat, where's my mat, is to stamp the sentiment. Now I'm going to put it down on the bottom half of this, and I need to use my embossing buddy, and I like to give it a really good, especially with white on a dark colour, because it gets everywhere. Now I'm using my Versamark ink pad that's seen better days, but still works. I'm not throwing it out yet. So you'll see I've got my, this is actually from my Stamposaurus, my old Stamparatus, and it works just as well. But you can buy, of course, the Stamp and Pierce mat. It's also in the current catalogue. Now I want to do it down the bottom So if I pop this on here, I can just see where I want that. Just going to turn that down a bit. So I want that about there, and I want that about there. Now I'm sure you can see this. That looks about right to me. Now I'm just holding that on for a second, and I'm going to get the white embossing powder out. Let's pop the lid on that before something dreadful happens. And there we go. Now you may or may not be able to see that, but you will in just a moment. I've got my white embossing powder here, my little spoon. And I'm just popping that on. Because it's only a small amount, I can do this straight back into the container. And that will look really good when it's heat set. Now any stray specks of that, I can just wipe that off with my little paintbrush, which I will do. How is that possible? I have red ink all over me. I do not know. So I have a very small little paintbrush that I like to use for my embossing. And at the end of the day, does it really matter? Okay, now I'm going to warm my heat tool up for a second, and then I'm going to emboss this. So just bear with me. I'll do this kind of under my desk for the moment. So I thought that was really, really lovely. And when you think about that background behind that I didn't have to do. It tones in and it looks really, really lovely. So I'm just going to give this a heat. And you just stop heating this and move on to the next bit when you see it pop. Now, I never get tired of looking at this. I never get tired of watching heat embossing powder work. Isn't that lovely? Look at that. So now we're in business. Now I'm going to show you how I have created this shattered effect. So this is the piece I cut it out with, and this is the next size up die. So what I want to do is, again with some removable tape, I just want to pop this on here as my guideline. Now it is bigger, yes, it is bigger. You need it to be bigger so that you can put the spaces between the mosaic pieces. So I'm just taking a very small piece of removable tape and I'm just popping it on here just to hold that in place. Okay, now I have missed a piece under his. Oh no, there it is. Okay, that's fine, that's good. Okay, because I did two at the same time. Now what I'm going to show you is totally I was going to say random, but it's not actually random because I've done a few of these now and I learnt each and every single time what to do. So I wanted it to be shattered. So instead of just going across, I mean, you could well go across, put it into even sections, but anybody can do that. And I like to think outside the box. So yeah, I cut about a third off and I just went straight across. Now this is where you need to be a little bit careful, shall we say. So you want, as you cut them, place them down so you know where they came from. Okay, now we're going to start with some very big pieces and we're going to then cut them down further as needs be. So I've cut that one like that. I want a really nice long one. Popping that back there. I'm going to continue to go around, and I'm just cutting like wedges of different widths, different sizes, different lengths, and you'll see how this ends up looking like it's shattered. Now I'm just going to put those pieces in there like that, okay? Now what I found was to start with the biggest piece, which in this case is this one here. Now I do need my, take your pick, and I found it, and now it's lost again. I had it. Oh, here it is. Stop looking, stop looking. Okay, so don't lose your scissors because we are going to use those. So I want to use this first long bit here, and it's quite easy to take this the backing paper off, and we're using, don't forget, we're using this as a guide. So it came from there or thereabouts, and I'm butting that up against the edge. Now it doesn't quite match because this circle is bigger, but I just want to have an approximate edge. So I'm just laying that down like that. Because I put the double-sided adhesive on that, it is going to be so easy to do. Now the next piece I want to put in is this piece next to it. This is the way I found it to go, the best way to go. So I'm popping this piece in, and look, if you enjoy jigsaw puzzles, you're going to love this, because look, these pieces fit in perfectly. Now you don't want too much of a gap, and it doesn't matter if it's not a uniform gap, okay? So we've got that piece in now. Now I want to do something on this side of him. But this is a big piece, so I want to cut this down. I want it to be smaller pieces. So I'm going to cut this one, and I'm going to pop that in there. Now this is a bit fiddly, it's a bit time consuming. Let me just say, if you don't like time consuming, this is probably not the card for you. But if you like a challenge, then yeah, go for it. So I'm just putting that in as I'm going around, and I'm cutting them down, and when we get to the last few pieces, you'll see that we're going to have to do some creative trimming and stuff. So that piece is in there like that. Now I thought I might do a piece like this. Don't forget to keep putting that back where you got it from, otherwise you might end up getting mixed up. But other than that, this is fairly easy and straightforward. It's effectively paper piecing. But I'm really glad I thought of that. The first one I did with glue, and I got in a real mess, let me just tell you. So you can see this is going down okay. It's going down quite well. So we've got this piece here. We might chop that off somehow like that, just to make it interesting. And I always start with the deckled edge, which is really good, because if it was just a straight edge, you might get a bit confused. So being a circle and having this deckled edge on it is really handy. So yep, as you can see, we're just creating this mosaic for the shattered look. And I'm going to now do some more around this edge here. Just because you want to keep your spacing uniform. And I found with the first one, I got a little bit off track, a little bit out of whack with it. So yeah, this is how I've developed this now. So just putting them in piece by piece. Now you'll see that this gap here is a bit too big, and I'm talking about this gap here. So what I found I did was I cut this again, then I can put a space between it and it fills that gap. Now it's very much like mosaic tiling. You use little pieces to pop it in to fill in the gaps. So I'm putting this piece here. Now this die that's taped down is very much only a guide. And here's our other little piece. So if I could pick it up, I'd be in business. So that's going to go in there like that. Now you see what I've done here? I've created a border here which has pushed that border and made it narrower. So that's what I found was very useful. That's why I only cut them up into big pieces in the beginning, because you can cut them down further and narrow those borders as required. So that looks a bit better. Now we've got this big chunky piece here, and we're going to have to do the same with that. And we have this piece here, and we're going to have to do the same with that. So this piece here, I can actually cut this in half this way. And then I can cut it further to expand the border. So I will do that. And in keeping the shattered look, don't do them all the same direction, these little cuts. Now just bear with me while I just get this right. Sorry if my hand's in the way. Okay, now this little piece here will go in there. And we're nearly finished. It really doesn't take a long time. You just need to know that you need to make some adjustments as you go along. Now, does that look okay? That looks okay to me. And then this piece here, we can do another little adjustment. So we'll do it this way. And we're nearly done. It turns out to be pretty much a one, flat card for save on for postage. Of course, you could pop this up if you wanted to, up onto some dimensionals, if that's what you wanted to do. Now, you notice I'm just checking these before I actually stick them down in case they need a bit of trimming. So just go easy and take your time and fit each piece in as the need arises. So you might have to give it a bit of a trim or whatever. Now this little piece here, let's just check this, because sometimes the last little piece is a bit, sometimes we need to do some tweakage here. So I'll just chop that off there. I'll pop the bigger one in, and then we might have to trim that one again. So we'll have a look. But it's fun. I don't know if this has been done before. I don't know if there's a name for it. I'm calling it shattered because that's what it reminded me of. Shattered. Yeah, something shattered, like a china plate or something like that had been shattered. Now we've got our last little bit, and I'm just going to check that. Yeah, so see, I've got to cut a little piece off. So I'm starting with a tiny little bit, and I'm just checking to see. Yeah, that looks okay to me, so I'm going to put that one in there. So yeah, as long as you realise that you may need to do some tweakage, and that's the word I'm using because we're tweaking it. Now, I'm just going to pop that in there. And there we go. Now I can just take this off. Take off our tape. That's to be reused again because I love recycling. And that's it. And that's our shattered technique, for want of a better word. So now let's finish the card, and we'll put it together, and then I'll show you some of the others that I have made. That's 2. I always keep them all ready to go. Yeah, I made some other ones, and yeah, let me know in the comments if you prefer one over the other or however you like that. So onto our standard card, I'm going to use some of this white baker's twine. Now on the first one, I just put a little bow. I may end up wrapping some around this, I think. Yeah, I think I might do that. Anyway, we'll get on and we'll get it finished, and then you can let me know if you preferred one over the other. Now I'm just putting some Stamp and Seal. My mind is like a metal trap that's permanently shut. Like, dear, oh dear. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap this around, and I was hoping to sort of have it about there. Yep, that looks good. Very, very sticky. And I'm just going to do that a couple of times. And I don't really like to do things straight. That way, if they're not straight, it doesn't matter. Okay. Just going to cut that off. And I will tie a little bow or something and add it to there in a minute. So I'm just going to attach this now. And I've been using the Stamp and Seal a lot lately, and it's quick. It is a dry adhesive, so it's great to take somewhere if you can get it to go. There we go. Operator error as usual. What can I say? Need a little bit there. Okay, so just centre that up. Now, the size of this card is a standard A4 cut in half. Our little berry burst panel is 13.85 by 9.5 centimetres, and there's some numbers there in case you want to jot them down, because these are in the new mini catalogue. These are in the new mini catalogue. You may need those numbers on the 6th of September if you want to get into and order those straight away. So we're not finished yet, but I will just leave that there for a minute. and we will continue on. Now, I usually like to make a substantial bow out of the baker's twine, so I'm going to use 3 lengths. I'm just chopping that off. I've just got the 3 strands all together here. I'm going to make my usual bunny ears, and oh gosh, don't think I've had enough coffee yet today. I don't want to have any now. I'll never sleep. But anyway, oh my gosh. All right, okay. So I make the 2 loops, and then I just tie a normal knot. Now, once I've got the 3 loops through there, I let the ends flip over, and then I tighten them. Now, you might be thinking, why are you going to such great detail? Well, some people don't know how to tie a bow easily, and yeah, they're troublesome sometimes, these things. So, and I have had some requests in the past to slow that down and show you. So you can put that wherever you like. I think I'll put it there. I need a glue dot for that. So there it is. It's hiding right there. So I'll just pop that, take the bow to the glue dot, and then take that off with my take your pick tool, which is extremely handy, and half the time I haven't got it because I forget where I've put it. And I'm going to pop that over there like that, just like that. Now I'm going to add some of these beautiful moody mauve dots. What are they actually called? 20 to 23 to 20 to 25 in coloured dots. Now, as if I don't have enough trouble just saying ordinary words. Okay, so where did I put them on this one? We might have to change it around because I've changed the orientation of the bow now. So they're just so nice. They move with the light, and I'm not sure if you're catching that, but they do move with the light. So let's see, we might put some up there. We might put a big one. Now, I found with these things to sort of bend the plastic behind it, and that way, yeah, you're not struggling like I am now. Famous last words. Oh dear. All right, so that's a large one. There's 3 different sizes here. So we might put a small one on. Now, of course, you could go a different colour if you wanted to. If you wanted to introduce a second colour to that. So we've got 2 up there. We definitely need something down here, and I think something there. So we might pop a big one down here, and a little one. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to end up with all the same size by the end of this because I will have used odd numbers. And I think we'll do a medium one up here just for the heck of it. But there we go. Now I'm going to bring in the other cards that I made. Just let me tidy this up a little bit. And I do hope you give this a go. I'm calling it Shattered. I don't know if anybody else has made it before, but I've got a couple of bits and pieces to show you here. So this one here, I used the beautiful Host stamp set, which is called Calm and Quiet. I used this picture here, and I just did it on plain basic white, and I just have the designer series paper showing through in the background. I did the ombre with the darker at the top, to give that a bit of contrast. So there's that one. I haven't made the card for this one, but I just wondered what it would look like if you used a sentiment stamp. Now, I used a really large sentiment stamp, and I cannot find the box that it comes in. Oh dear, don't know where it is. But yeah, I just wondered how it would look if you used a sentiment. So if you can imagine that on a card, that's designer series paper. So that's something else to think about. And the last one, I used that gorgeous holographic paper. Now, it might be a bit hard to see, but I have stamped the same image as that. And I've backed it onto black. And this is where I've used the those dies, the basic shapes, the essentials, I think they're called. Oh gosh, anyway. And that's just a couple of little scraps of black cardstock. This is an old DSP from the the last lot of In Colours. I think it's called Starry Sky. But yeah, I've only used the holographic paper once, and I wanted to see what that would look like, to actually give it the look of maybe a mirror that has shattered. But let me know what you think. I'm calling it the shattered technique. So and let me know if you have a go at it. But I hope you do have a go at it. It was fun. It was great fun. And deciding what stamps to use with what DSP was also fun. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope everybody has a lovely week. I'll see you again on Wednesday night, all being well. And thank you so much for your time. I know we all have very little time these days, but I'm so glad that you chose to spend your time with me today. Okay, Jill Lancet, online store, email address. Please do like, subscribe and share. And this is the host code for orders under $250, and it ends on the 30th September. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.